Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining. Today, I'm joined by Sanjay Gandhi from VA Central, as you can see. Thanks for joining us today, Sanjay.
Afternoon, Nat.
How are we doing? You all right?
All good, thanks. All good.
We're going to talk a little bit today about VA Central, what you do. So for those that don't know you, perhaps you could just give us a quick who, what, when, where, and why, and obviously a little bit about Moss Properties. I know about that too, but if you can tell our viewers about that. So over to you, Sanjay.
Yeah, well, predominantly I started Moss Properties 15 years ago. We're based in South Yorkshire, Doncaster. So buying, selling, renting, and predominantly a lot of renting and letting properties. That's how we started.
Right.
And through the last few years, I've wanted to refine our systems and operations furthermore because I could see what was coming further down the line with automation. And obviously, I didn't see COVID coming, but COVID definitely,
I think
sort of turbocharge the prop tech and technology world. So that's where really VA Central has been born from. That I was actually using a PA based in South Africa 5 years ago, and I'm still using her. She's still with me, and through that, I've learned a lot, crafted a lot of how virtual assistants can actually help.
So how do you find that, having your your own personal virtual assistant overseas? Tell us a bit about that. You said South Africa, right?
Yeah, in Cape Town, South Africa. I mean, it's crazy that, as I've said, we've been working together. And when I say she, her name's Bronwyn. So I think a lot of people already know Bronwyn in the industry. But yeah, I started working with her 5 years ago. And the crazy thing is now, 5 years, I still haven't met her personally, face to face, yeah, in person. Yeah, she's got my bank account details, everything. That's the kind of trust that we've built over a period of time. And when you say, how do you find it? To me, it's no different to somebody sat in my office as my PA. Now, it's about your own mindset because, if anything, as we've known through the pandemic, remote working has become more and more
Well, it's certainly
acceptable.
fast-tracked it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps the work from home movement was coming, but of course, with the pandemic, it's just really fast-tracked it to where we are today.
And I think the other thing to remind you of, look, before we used to all joke about, remote working was predominantly with the banks and things. When you called up your bank, it was somebody abroad, and people were like, "Yeah, is it right?" But I think it's moved on. We're on to like version 5 of remote working, and it's going to get even better as we go along.
Okay, yeah. So tell me about VA Central, the firm. We talked about Bronwyn there, who runs that.
Yeah, well, VA Central, as I say, that was born in the pandemic, where more and more people, within my Moss Mentors mastermind group, for instance, they were fascinated by my idea of how I was working with VAs, because even in Moss Properties, we've got 7 VAs working in the background, and predominantly, what do we use VAs for? We get them to do all the back office work, okay, which allows us to have our negs and them doing the fee earning work. A bit like a lot of the professional practices, when you see a lawyer, they've got secretaries and that doing the back office work. They're really fee earners. So I got my model through that really I want to do agents in the same way, that we could really focus on giving great customer care and in the background do all the documentation and everything with our VAs, and that's how we operate.
So it works. Well, look, I'm an advocate for it. We use VAs, as you know, as well, which is it works absolutely fantastically, as we said. So in terms of agents, I mean, you're looking at agents perhaps who could, what should they be looking at if they were considering getting a VA for their business?
Well, I think, look, it's really important. 2022, we're into 2022, coming off the back of the pandemic. There's so many changes that we've gone through over the last couple of years in agency. There's going to be a lot more down the line. And I think as agents, most agents now need to look at their operational model. And I think whether you like it or not, work-life balance, these types of things are all affecting all businesses. When I speak to most business owners, the first thing they talk about is recruitment and the fact that they're short staffed or people aren't performing, all these kind of issues. I think this is where VAs can step in and help, all right, because a lot of the VAs can help do a lot of the work behind the scenes that you might be reliant on a lot of staff in your office, but they have so many distractions, they don't actually do what they're employed to do. And the VAs, again, to expand on it, there's so many different variances in terms of what can they do. I mean, you might say to me, I want somebody for my marketing, or actually I'm looking for a bookkeeper, or I'm looking for somebody to basically look after my HR. There's a whole facet.
So it could be any
Any
aspect
type of, yeah. And we,
business.
as VA Central,
Yeah.
because we understand the business and we're in it, as I said, we've got our own agency business, we can bespoke it to any particular client. And again, we're working with Fine and Country, the Belvoir Group, a lot of independents like Rosebery Newhouse. All these CEOs and business owners, they've all got different needs within their businesses, and we've matched the PAs and VAs to their businesses, like we have, with plenty of other businesses.